Yo, what's poppin'? It's Tommathan. We are halfway through the Overwatch League Season 5 playoffs. We know our top six. We have 2 days left. The crowd will be there tomorrow. It's going to be hype. I'm ready. We had some big questions answered today in terms of power level of the team, what's going on around here. Maybe a more desirable playstyle coming out on top in the winner's bracket. Both teams had a very similar go, 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 balls to the wall kind of playstyle there. And I'm hyped. So I'm going to get started first up. First big team going home. LA Gladiators. They lose 3-1 to the San Francisco Shock, starting off 2-0 for the Shock on Oasis. They win the Mikey map, and whenever you see them win the Mikey map, you're just thinking, "Oh, it's over. It's over." Like you're not recovering from that, and it's not like Mikey's playing awful. Again, I'll put a little bit of spec on his name, although I don't like doing that. He wasn't awful. He was suitable, but like the team is better with collusion. And my question is, map 5 comes around. What the fuck's going on? Are you playing Mikey in that map 5 with your season on the line? You lose that map, you go home. You're done for the season. And you're putting in Mikey after he hasn't played for 3 maps. Is that what's going on? Is that what Cressy's cooking? I'm not sure if I agree with that. I don't really understand it. It's like I don't think he's doing anything specifically different. Maybe he is. Maybe they're thinking, oh, you know what, Mikey is just a goat on Koth maps, or Coolidge just doesn't have the pacing down, or something dumb like that. I don't know, but like, I don't like that idea. Um, but yeah. So then 4-3 fight back from the Glads. The DPS played really good on Kings Row. Um, Kevs are happy. I thought they were the best players on the Glads today, pretty consistently. Now, for the rest of the guys, I wasn't too happy about. Shu kind of proved to be like maybe he's not that guy that can just pick up heroes on the fly and be the god at them. Maybe he needs a bit more time to cook to really figure out the min max's hero. Funny Astro has not been that level that was like, oh, you know what, he's the best Lucio in the league. He's super aggressive, all this cool plays. It hasn't been there, and I don't know why. I can't. I couldn't tell you exactly why. Maybe it's just another comp thing where it's like, oh, it's similar to Summer Showdown actually, and it's like, oh, he needs to be here, he needs to be doing this, and he's just not that guy. And then Reiner has been kind of disappointing. It's like sometimes he just still dies. Sometimes he just dies, and I can't. I don't know. Is Kevster not with him? If is Shu not healing him? Does he need a speed boost? What's going on there? Uh, it's just not working. And then on the other side for Shock, Finn just gapping Shu in terms of pick potential, what he's finding in terms of healing, Kitsune rushes, all that. It feels like it's Finn all day. Proper, even though I said Happy was probably the best player on the Glads, Proper is Proper. He did play better, especially Circle Royale. Circle Royale was a diff and a half. Kalush comes in to play the Sigma. Space comes in to play the Sigma. Space gets his Flux Rock twice. They put up a decent offense, but Shock just kind of ran with it on their offense. Like it was very clear that Shock were more practiced and just better at this composition overall. Just utterly complete domination there. And then Esperanza, Glads did start off a little bit strong. You know, they take that initial almost the first checkpoint right before the first checkpoint, and then that goes away. But then Shock gained some crazy momentum, and it feels like the thing about Glads is the neutral fights where if unless they have an alt like Kitsune Rush or something like that to really pull up and have you use this alt and you try to win with it. It felt like they don't really know what the game plan is. They don't feel confident in what's going on, or like a Death Blossom or something like that. Even whenever I feel like Proper wasn't checked enough by Reiner with primals and things like that. I don't know if I'm crazy for thinking that, but it just felt like Reiner wasn't in there doing that kind of stuff that you see every other Winston doing. Um, Again, it could be crazy. Let me know if you think I'm crazy on that one. But like, it just felt like something's not there. And Shock, it's not like they were playing fantastic. It's not like they're like exceptional players. It's pretty evenly matched. But it's like just individually, each player seemed to be doing a little bit more. They seemed to have a better game plan within the actual neutral fights. And because Finn was diffing Shu and Kitsune ult is the most important ult in the game right now, it's just so critical to winning your fights. You get your first ult, you win. That's just how it is. And there's another great example of that coming up in the Soul versus Dallas game where it's just Fielder just gaps create or Iris, sorry. Creative is not on that team anymore. It was brutal, but this game was like a teaser for that. And I don't know, like, what do you do from the Gladiators if you're here? Like, what's your next play? How do you improve this team? Did you just say, oh, it's a bad meta? Do you look at face and you say this should have been a better result? Do you let him cook another season? I don't know. I don't know what you do, but disappointing finish out for the Gladiators for sure. This is not where they want it to be. And that's just how it is. My player of the match is going to be proper because it's proper. That's the end of this sentence. That's it. So going over to the Hangzhou Spark against the Florida Mayhem. Um, Shy. I could probably end off on that, but like Gushue and Teru also really good. There were times on Busan I thought Spark had this one. Hydron did play pretty well on Busan, but he got slowly gapped the longer the series went on. Spark beat their demon known as Dorado Point B offense, where it's Shy just can't walk up and carry because of the angles he gets. They actually were able to get those angles for him, and they just kind of won it in like a fight in like a half. Just great work there from the Spark. Um, Paraiso was like these were close matches. These were pretty close. I'll be honest. I didn't see a lot of Paraiso because I was making dinner, but like, damn, there's a point on Busan going back to Gushue where he would in final fight Sanctuary 1-1-1 99-99. Well, not 99 to 89 or something. Uh, he kills two. He kills Onimo and Hydron, but Florida actually end up winning the fight on point because Gushue's primaling two of their guys, but they don't have a tank there, and they end up winning barely. But like Gushue was consistently doing a lot, and someone was doing a pretty good too. But it's like Hydron was getting shut down a lot more than Shy, and that's the biggest thing. On Dorado, I was very critical of them giving Shy a lot of space to cook on their offense. Like it just felt like he wasn't pressured. Esperanza, actually, Spark had to make a comeback on Esperanza. They were down pretty considerably, and there were some pretty big misplays, I think, from Florida from a macro perspective on that last push. Overtime, Spark are looking to get the checkpoint. They don't have the checkpoint yet, and Florida has 105 meters. So that's like two fights. And what happens is to contest the checkpoint, they actually put someone out, and he's on the cart, stopping the not the cart. He's on the bot, stopping the checkmate from going the checkpoint, and he primals. But they end up winning that fight anyway. Spark win that fight, and Shy gets his overclock still. Like he had it that fight, and they just prop primal. So next fight is just a free win. Luckily, in that next fight, Hydron gives them an opportunity. He steals the card a little bit. They have more time to cook, more room for all that, and he kills Shy. So they have an opening in which they could go really fast, and Shy won't be there, but they don't take it. It'd be pretty hard to take it. I don't blame them for that. But then they also don't play with as much space as they have. They kind of fight more out in the open. Again, I understand taking the fight a bit earlier than you need to because Spark were coming up on ultimates first, and they do get those ultimates and close it out, but they were already winning the fight before they even got them, it felt like. So it's just like, I feel like you have that primal. Maybe Shy doesn't kill everyone with his overclock because you're primaling him, something like that. I don't know. And it happened again on Dorado. I felt like Gushue actually had a primal misplay, but then they didn't recognize that fast enough. Like 20 seconds left, they died with ults because I don't know if they wanted to do a quick fight next or something. It was just weird. I felt like there were some like key points where it's like Florida not respecting the Sojourns, and that's like that was a key battle in this match. So I'm pretty disappointed that they kind of went with that. But yeah, player of the match is Shy, has to be. Even though Gushue played really well, Teru played really well. Super Rich is just like a rock. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have this screen up. That's on me. I should be having this screen up so I can point at the players. Super Rich is just like a rock. Like he's not doing anything exceptional, but he's not doing anything poorly either. He's just solid, and sometimes that's fine. But like, and the Reapers were secondary. It felt like a lot of the time, but there's still some moments. Of course, Death Blossom's a powerful right now, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like Florida put up a really good fight. This was a really close game, but Shy is just another level. There's no one like Shy left in the tournament. With Lip gone, especially, there's just no one like him. They're playing something. Barker playing their own game, their own take on the meta. You have Teru who's playing it like nobody else. Shy is doing it like nobody else. Gushue's an elite Winston, and then Alfie and Super Rich are doing their thing. Like there's just no other team like them, and they're going to be deadly going through this lower bracket again. And then next up, Seoul Dynasty against the Dallas Fuel. This was a complete roll. Straight up front with you. Dallas just win this. Like the way they were controlling the tempo in this game was crazy because they were going so fast. Seoul had to work for every little bit of space, and whenever they chose the tempo, it wasn't like, oh, we're just pushing in as soon as we see them. Oh, boom, boom, boom. Sometimes, let's Kitsune rush into their spawn, and then they try to trade it, but it's like you just lose now. And sometimes you let them walk in a little bit. but you don't give it. You let them use resources to walk in, and then you can go really fast. Like Dallas were just switching things up so well, and Seoul just did not look like they were even fighting. Like they like fight back. Every single member of Dallas consistently was performing better than their counterpart. Vin Dame was just dying sometimes. First, like he was just dying first, whether it be the Sparkle to Edison, however the hell it happened. That should be impossible on Lucio. It just shouldn't be a thing. Smurf was getting shut down hella hard by Sparkle. I can't like Smurf had a pretty poor game. Iris was getting diffed by Fielder. Fielder, there was a point on Kings Row. He had almost double Iris's healing, which just leads to insane. Like, just think about having Kitsune Rush up twice as fast, and think about what that ult does. Like, just they were getting way more value consistently. You can go first with it, even if it's by 10% at like the first one. Oh, it's just a 10% difference. You go with it. That's a one fight. If they try to Kitsune ult like 10 seconds later, or what, or like 5 seconds later, any amount later, they're at a disadvantage because Kitsune ult is not actually one where the later ult is better. It's just not. You have to go right away. Because it helps build the ults, so they get more ults faster. It snowballs, right? Because of the extra fire, because of all that, it's actually better to Kitsune ult first every time. Especially if they don't have one to respond. It was just so much better. And Philly's my player of the match for this one, 100%, just because of the raw stuff he was doing. Like, he's not like Teru. He's not getting 8k damage in a map, right? But he is with the team. He's outputting so much healing. Smurf wasn't getting that healing. Fearless is taking a lot of damage. He's doing a lot of work. He's taking a lot of angles away. Every single member on Dallas looked better. The macro position was better. The rotations were better. The fight planning's better. Tempo's better. Everything was just immaculate. It was peak. It was peak. There were fights. The fights that Soul won came off of like a Smurf Primal. He was able to actually not just instantly die. He was able to take some of that pressure off from Sparkle and put it onto Edison or anything like that. But like, that's not consistent. You can't. That's not a thing you can actually do, right? I don't know. I think insane what Dallas has done. But here's the thing: Houston, London. Houston did what Dallas did, but they were even more fast. Like they didn't have the same overall like brain power. It didn't feel like, oh, we're gonna let them in, we're gonna rotate better. It just felt like they just did not give London even a little bit of room to breathe. And London, like straight up, weren't playing the game. I don't even have any in-depth analysis for this. 2-1 win over Ilios, 3-1 win on Ike, 3-1 win on Circuit, just spamming it the whole way. Houston, just in their spawn room, pretty much every single map they can. They touch spawn doors every map, man. Like, this was insanity from Houston here. There were multiple C9s from London. That's like, and I don't even blame them because Houston are holding them in their spawn, basically. There were some bad ones, but they just get off the cart. But like, I don't think they were going far with it anyway. There are still moments where Dante just like has some oopsies and he drops into backbone while he doesn't have jump up and he just dies, right? That still happens. But other than that, it's like I don't really have any gripes with this team. Merritt and Pelican look insane. Pelican on the Reaper is like lights out. He's doing the most. Merritt just diffed Sparker entirely. Sparker started off really strong, but as the maps went on to Ike Circuit, it was all Merritt. And then we've been like praising Landon's Kiriko, but Creative was right there with him. Like Lastro had a fantastic game. I don't even have like any super in-depth stuff. It's like Houston were just winning. So I'm sorry about that. I straight up don't know. Like I can't even pinpoint like how was it better other than like they're just going crazy fast. And the DPS were getting way more value. Hottie was not shutting down Merritt at all. Merritt was untouched. It's like it was brutal. It was brutal. And I'm very excited to see Dallas versus Houston. Those are our two top 3 teams right now. And there's one more coming from either Spark or San Fran or Seoul or something, right? But damn, this was crazy. My player of the match for this one is I'm gonna give it to Pelican, I guess, because I think his Reaper is really good. But like it could have went to legit anyone on Houston. But before I end this off, I'm going to do my Preds for tomorrow. So starting off, Soul Shock. Loser goes home. I think this is... I'm a little not sure, but I'm leaning towards Soul here. I think they are going to learn from that. They're going to be up all night VOD reviewing this stuff. Like, Toby is sitting in his chair right now, painstakingly looking over how the fuck Dallas just, like, had their way with their franchise. with the entirety of Seoul. Unreal. I I like what Spark's doing or what Shock's doing, but it's like I just don't. I just think Seoul should be better. I think we'll see them against Florida, like how they played, a bit, maybe even better. This is a wake up. If Seoul aren't in the finals, it's a like negative for them. Like they need to be in top two minimum, or this season's not good enough. Like with this roster, with how much they've been doing, with everything about this team, there should be no holes unless you want to say, oh, Fitz isn't as pop off as Shy or as anyone like that. Like I don't care. He's not a weakness on the team. There's no clear weakness, right? They just gotta fix their shit. I think they'll do it. I want to put a 3-0 because I don't really believe in Shock. I still don't do it. Like, even though you beat the Glads didn't look super good. Seoul looked better. I think it'll be good. I think it's a 3-0 for Seoul. Then London Spark. I want to go 3-0 for Spark as well. I kind of talked about it already. I think they're just a different breed. They're actually built different than any other team left. No other team is built like them. Gushue, the raw talent of Gushue, how Teru plays is different from anyone else. Shy is the best. Maybe you can say Backbone can diff Alpha E, but I think Alpha E, like, how they were playing with Pineapple compared to Alpha E, clearly, like, that was just like a scrim. Like, they just scrimmed Toronto to see if it would work, I think. Like, they just used them. Like, it's not close anymore. I don't think they'll make that mistake. I like 3-0 for Spark. Then going up to winners, Dallas, Houston, in front of a crowd, home crowd. I guess I could consider home crowd buff for Shock too, but I won't. What has happened the last time these teams meet on land with a crowd? Houston won both times. And they weren't supposed to win either of them, but they won both times. I think they're in Dallas's head. I actually want to pred Houston here because I think Merritt and Pelican looked extremely scary, extremely worrisome for Dallas, which their weakness, if they have one, which they don't really, but if they do, it is their DPS line is not quite as strong as some of these other teams left. Like, you'd think that their DPS line should be weaker than, I don't know, Soul, Spark, Shock, maybe. No, probably not Spark. It's probably not Shock. But Houston. And even then, Soul, they just didn't have their way with Soul. So it's like, if I believe in the heart of the cards, I believe that Houston actually are in their head and that they'll win this. I want to put Houston in the grand finals. And you know what? I think I will. I want to call this a close fought 3-2 for Houston in front of the crowd. And we'll see. We'll see how that goes. This spread might be wrong. The safe bet is Dallas all the way. But these playoffs, look at this bracket. There are no safe bets. There are none. So I'm going to do that. And that would make my lower bracket semifinal between Soul and Spark. And I kind of want to go with Spark again. I think that, it's the same reasons for London. They're just different. They're just built different. Shy's on a grind right now. They're going to be crazy. Gushue's good. They're not quite as fast because they like to give Shy a lot of time to cook. So they're not as fast as Dallas or Houston. And that's another way that their playstyle varies. So I'm a little bit worried whenever they face those two teams. We saw it already that Dallas could just kind of win. Especially after they started targeting Shy on Dorado and Esperanza. But hopefully they found a way to negate that. Hopefully they have an idea whenever that comes. If that comes, who knows? If Dallas goes to lower bracket, I think Dallas are going up to... Maybe I think Dallas are going to Grands. I don't know. I'll talk about that next time. If it happens. Probably won't. Let me know your Preds tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts on these matches. Let me know all that. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you like it. Subscribe if you really liked it. Have yourself a damn good one. Deuces.